The remake of Dorchester Square in Place du Canada in Montreal. Once upon a time, it was one of the most important public space in Canada. And after 125 years, it became the most unloved public space in Canada. We won an RFP, and we worked on this for 20 years. The idea was to go back as it was, but with a twist. Just a little bit, but we're not duplicating. Remember, we don't duplicate, we move forward. But we wanted to correct the main concept idea of the crisscrossing. But the crisscrossing has been cut in the 60s, 100 years ago, when the beginning of cutting a quarter of the park to bring the cars in. So we had to get the car out, but we had a parking garage right underneath with a slab 4 inches below, with a maximum of slab that you could, soil over it that you could do. But that was green historically, so we wanted to bring it back green. So that was clear. So by extending it back, we thought it would be important to have a monument there. We thought it would be great to do the water fountain, because Montreal always had fountain in their park. So we brought this green photosynthesis color in it, like an army green that can mimic the color of the green. And as we had this done, we wanted to be as big as some of those other, the Boer War monument was about 11 meters tall. So we wanted this thing to be not dwarf, but equally. So we have this fountain up to 11 meters, strategically placed onto a column underneath of the parking. And as we were doing this, the city asked us to bring a road for buses, for tourism in there, and it was exactly going where the fountain was. So they told us, take the fountain out or make it smaller. We need the bus. So we basically said, we can't get it smaller, we can't move it, so we're going to slice it to get the route by. And I remember as we were presenting it, they were freaking out. And with Sophie and I winked at her, I said, this is the right answer. Your no tells me this is where the success of this client will reside. The grading of the park is done with the principle of Alphand in his park in Paris. Just creating a little slight burn, because every year the city rented the park for event on the grass and they kill it and they go away and they don't fix it. So we don't want to do that. So we want to create something that's just curved enough for not being able to put a tent, right? So that worked beautifully. So that gave us this opportunity to do beautiful edges all around the green island versus the paving. And when in a park, the cars behind disappear, because you always have this notion of green surrounding you. It worked beautifully. The car ramp in the middle of the park that leads you into the parking could not be moved because we didn't have the money and the budget for it. So when we were working on that part, I was just coming back from Venice. Venice is little bridge, is canal. Everywhere was perfect solution. So we we started duplicating that a way of stepping on one side to the other, and it did the job beautifully. So it's a collection of different moments in different cities that we brought in there, fitting with the context, fitting with the story, and fixing a problem of integration. So I think it's a very contemporary park in a very important historical context. This is once again, right, crossing two things that you think don't fit together, and at the end it just finds its place, and the context is quite right.